Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Ashcroft.
My lords, ladies and gentlemen, many of you were present almost 2 years ago to the day for the launch of Victoria Cross Heroes, and those of you with long memories will recall that I asked you to lend me your support as a struggling author. I and my publishers had gambled on whether there were enough people who shared my passion for the Victoria Cross and the remarkable exploits of those who have been awarded Britain's most prestigious bravery award. And the success of Victoria Cross Heroes has meant that one thing led to another, and all of its repercussions have been thankfully positive. Indeed, earlier this year, the Imperial War Museum announced that I'd be donating a sum to build a new gallery to exhibit the whole collection of 155 Victoria Crosses. And the motive behind such a move on my part was simple, is that I wanted all those in the UK and visitors to Britain to be able to enjoy seeing the medals and to learn about the stories behind why that they were awarded. And the publication of Victoria Cross Heroes was for me an enjoyable and rewarding experience that I wanted to repeat it. And that is why you are here this evening. Special Forces Heroes tells the stories behind a totally separate but no less important medal collection. This time, by and large, the collection consists of the decorations awarded to the SAS, the SBS, and other commando-style servicemen who became involved in Special Forces work. And it is not straightforward to divide bravery into subsections. However, I would argue there are broadly two types of valor: spur-of-the-moment bravery and cold courage. The latter being gallantry, which involves advanced planning. And I have nothing but admiration for those who have been decorated for spur-of-the-moment bravery, perhaps a soldier who in the heat of battle and with his blood up risked his life to save a wounded friend or colleague. But Special Forces Heroes, however, deals primarily with premedicated cold courage. It takes a truly special sort of valor to go undercover behind enemy lines or to form a part of a small elite unit on a hit-and-run raid against a far larger force. The participant knows he is putting his life on the line to a far greater extent than most servicemen do regularly in their line of duty. If the mission goes wrong, the serviceman knows that at best he might be captured and kept as a prisoner of war for months or even years. At worst, he might be seized, tortured, and killed. The more difficult and daring the operation becomes, the lesser the chances that those on it will return. And the bravery detailed in Special Forces Heroes spans 130 years, from a daring undercover raid in enemy territory during the Crimean War, nearly a century before the SAS was even found, to an act of bravery during the Second Gulf War only 5 years ago. Some incidents which feature in the book, notably the SAS rescue of the hostages from the Iranian embassy siege of 1980, will be known to you. Details of many more acts of gallantry, including secret work in Northern Ireland at the height of the Troubles, will be told for the first time. And Special Forces Heroes tell the stories of the bravery of 44 of Britain's finest servicemen. And I'm delighted to say that no less than 8 of them are here tonight. I will not embarrass these modest men by detailing exactly how courageous each of them was in the face of the enemy. However, suffice to say that between them they have been awarded 12 gallantry awards, 3 military medals, 4 Queen's Gallantry medals, 3 British Empire medals, and a Distinguished Conduct Medal. Bronco Lane, Kevin James, Alan Hartland, Tom Collins, Sakonia Takavesi, along with Pete Winner and Michael Watson, the last two being pseudonyms to mask their real identities, have all displayed astonishing bravery in such places as Northern Ireland, the Falklands, the Battle of Mirbat in Oman, recovering hostages from hijacked Flight 181 in Somalia and the Iranian embassy siege. Some of the men here tonight were at more than one of these daunting venues. And there is just one more Special Forces hero who is here tonight that I'd like to thank publicly. Andy McNabb, who told his own story so vividly in his best-selling book, Bravo 20, was kind enough to write the foreword to Special Forces Heroes. Andy was Britain's most decorated serving soldier when he left the SAS in 1993 with the Military Medal and the Distinguished Conduct Medal, decorations which he cherishes to this day. The book is being published in conjunction with a 4-part television series of the same name that will be shown on Channel 5, starting in fact tonight at 8 o'clock. My favorite story from the TV series is that of the Battle of Mirbat, which was fought in July 1972 while the SAS was carrying out a secret war in Oman. At one point, a force of just 9 SAS men, supported by a small number of local Dhafari soldiers, was attacked by an elite 250-strong force of enemy fighters. The ensuing battle raged for hours and saw 2 SAS men pay the ultimate price for their bravery. But the survivors, some of whom were badly wounded, one of whom is here tonight, held out until reinforcements arrived in a battle which undoubtedly decided the course of the entire war. Incidentally, I was so moved by the bravery of the SAS men at Mirbat, which to this day has not been fully recognized because of the secrecy of that war, that earlier this year I sponsored a memorial to the fallen men at the National Memorial Arboretum in Staffordshire, and it specifically honors the courage of Trooper Laba Laba and Tommy Tobin, a medic, who both died during the battle, and also Captain Mike Keeley, who fought in and survived the battle, only to die during a punishing exercise on the Brecon Beacon 7 years later. This memorial marks the courage of those who fought so valiantly that day during a little-known war of 36 years ago. And at a time when the lives of our dutiful soldiers are constantly being lost in Afghanistan and Iraq, it's imperative that we champion the present and past and courage of those who have served in our armed forces. These brave men that I have written about never considered failing their monarch, their country, or their comrades. We in turn should not fail them by forgetting about the sacrifices that they have made or the fine examples that they have set to others. And on the cover of my book, there's a short quotation from the Kohima Memorial in Burma, which was created after the Second World War. It reads simply, "When you go home, tell them of us and say, for your tomorrow, we gave our today." Finally, before I get crushed in the stampede to buy the book, I would just like to say how both humble and privileged I feel for a second time, thanks to my publisher's headline and my home team, to be able to tell the stories of the gallantry of British servicemen. And I'd ask you to salute those people here tonight who feature in the book and who undoubtedly deserve their place in history as some of the bravest men ever to serve their country. And thank you all very much for coming this evening.